Well, we will call the St. Cloud Metropolitan Transit Commission Board to order. Tuesday, January 21st, 2020, 4 p.m. Let the record reflect that all are here with the exception of Scott Kravitz. And do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to add item 8A, recognition of service given by Sean Pierce.
Okay, is that all you have?
Yes, that'll be all.
Move to approve is amended.
Second.
Moved and approved to amend. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. The agenda is adopted. We'll go to the consent agenda with the exception of 8A. It's all right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item of the consent that's still there is recognition, so turn it over. Sean Pierce.
Recognition. I'll bring them. Come on up, Bob. Bob has been with St. Cloud Metro Bus for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So, started back in 1980. Bob has been an exemplary employee. 2 years ago, he was chosen as the Bus Operator of the Year with Minnesota Public Transit Association. So,
Yeah. Well,
you've had how many years without an accident now? 38, 39?
I've never had a,
You never had one.
knock on that.
That's right, never had
Well, I don't feel like we should be talking about
40
it.
years without a chargeable accident.
If I were you, I'd call in sick tomorrow.
It's kind of like Fight Club, you just don't talk about it.
Knock on wood, huh?
Congratulations.
thank you, Sean. Yeah, thank you all.
Yeah.
Get your phone.
Well, thanks, Bob.
Congrats.
That's quite 40 years is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah,
It's,
I don't know where the time went.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your
Yeah,
service.
thank you so much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now the downside, you have to take a picture with us.
Yeah.
40 years from now, we'll all be here doing the same thing.
No, Ricky, Bob, another one.
If that doesn't make you retire tomorrow, nothing. Congratulations.
All right, where do you want? The tea in the back?
Squeeze in a little bit.
Squeeze
All
in.
right.
Get a little closer. Sean, there you go. Right here.
All right. Congrats.
Congrats.
To the next 40.
We'll see you in the next 40, yeah?
Yeah, at least be Pete, right? I'll be here, but I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah, I know Rick will be here.
That's right.
That'd be something to have an 80-year employee.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thanks, Sean.
That's really cool. And thanks, Sean, for that. I like those are the nice parts of the meeting. You'll recognize folks. So now we'll go on to the open forum. Seeing anyone here for the open forum? Everyone's on the list. So, all right, and we will move on to general business. Item number 9, consideration of transit asset management plan.
Hey, I'm Mike, I'm the maintenance manager with Metrobus. Anyway, we'd like to get the board to adopt a change in our transit management plan. In September, the FTA changed their guidelines from $5,000 to $50,000, and we would just like our plan to reflect that. The impact on us is it does allow us to a lot of paperwork reduction and tracking of small dollar items. Doesn't change anything that requires maintenance or engines. It's still all tracked in our new system. We're upgrading the Avail system right now, so it's a great time to make the changes if we're going to change it.
Does the feds mandate it, or?
No, they do not mandate it. It's we can report whatever we choose to report to them.
Okay.
Our currently it's $5,000, and you can't buy too much anymore with $5,000. So
The asset management plan is different than our capital asset plan. I just want to make sure that that's clear. So our capital asset threshold will remain at 5,000. The transit asset management plan will then go to 50,000, which is truly just, basically what it's saying is that the federal government just wants to recognize buildings, fleet, big ticket items. They don't care about the capital itself. It's just the bigger ticket items that have actual maintenance associated with those assets.
Move to approve.
Second. Is that fine? Do you need it higher? Is that, I mean, it's
Well,
just
that's what
reporting
the-
requirements, so it's not a,
Right, it's just for the federal government, and that's what they've moved theirs to, so we're just trying to mirror it.
Oh, so you're just mirroring it,
Just mirroring
okay.
what they say.
okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thanks. Number 10, under general business, consideration of the fiscal year 2020 final program of projects.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is again the final program of projects. You approved the proposed program of projects about 2 months ago. We did have that out for public comment, didn't hear anything. Actually, in my time, we've never had public comment on that, so it's not surprising. But we just need the final one approved in order to do the application process with the FDA.
So moved.
Motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adopted. Department updates. Human Resources update.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Just wanted to share with you a few things that took place in 2019 or will be coming in 2020 in HR. In 2019, we hired 37 regular employees. We had 14 temporary employees above and beyond that 38, either temporary or people who we went through the recruitment process, had a start date identified, and then they chose not to start. Either they got a different job or they ended up withdrawing from consideration. Our turnover rate in 2019 was at about 24%, which in comparison to national rates for 2018 within the industry or by industry, we're at 44% for transportation and 20% for state and local. So kind of look at us as a state and local and transportation hybrid. We're tracking right along with the 2018 national average. For recruitment efforts, we have recently tried some new things to try and attract people to positions with Metrobus. A while back, we wrapped the bus. You've all seen it. I can't remember how long ago that was. It was down for a part of 2019, and we had it parked out in the North Star parking lot. My understanding is that the engine is being rebuilt as we speak, and hopefully that'll be back out on the road in the next week or so. We have had some banners hanging up throughout the communities that we serve. We've added shelter decals to 20 of our shelters that are two-sided. One is specifically related to hiring operators. The other side is just general hiring. We are looking at doing some radio spots starting in February specific to recruitment. And then we are also starting to gather some quotes to go back to maybe some traditional print publication in some of the outlying areas to see if we can attract people that maybe we're not, a different demographic than we're reaching right now. So those are some recruitment efforts. Other projects, there's been a pretty lengthy review of all of our job descriptions. So I've gone through and reformatted all of our job descriptions to be a consistent format, and then for all of operations have reviewed those reformatted and revised job descriptions with all of the managers for input, and they are now out with all of our employees in operations to provide feedback and input. I'll be doing the same thing for administration. This is all in preparation for an upcoming classification and compensation study sometime later in 2020. But the idea is that we can get some of that legwork done and have accurate job descriptions for evaluation when a consultant comes in and helps us with that study.
Are we like cities, do we have to mandate to do those every 5 years or so?
Studies.
The job descriptions.
We're not mandated, but my hope is to actually have a more regular process for reviewing them and making sure that they do stay up to date. And then only when we have significant changes in job duties would we send them out for rating. In between whatever schedule we decide to do regular classification and compensation studies. But I'd like to make sure that we're reviewing them on some sort of regular basis, whether it's every other year and we do admin 1 year, so that I'm looking at a group every year, but maybe it's admin on the even years, ops on the odd years or something like that. But I don't have that schedule in place yet. I'm just trying to get through all of them right now.
We just finished our Springstead study. Will the work that you're doing now with the employees reviewing and offering feedback, will that be duplicated with a consultant, or will they be able to leverage the work you're doing now?
So the idea is that we will then have them start their process later in their normal process. So
Okay.
they wouldn't need to redo all of our job applications or
Description?
job descriptions because we've done that recently.
To
Okay.
answer your question, it wouldn't be duplicated. That's why Sunny's trying to
Get ahead
do
of
all
it.
of these things ahead
Yeah,
of time.
good.
That
Created
consultant
kind of
fee.
a checkoff
Good.
form for the employees, so we've actually got that documented, that we've requested feedback and whether or not we got that feedback. So we'll
Mhm.
have all of that whole process done ahead of time.
Good.
Yeah, so what the employees received is a copy of the revised job description and then a position analysis questionnaire where they can specifically respond to certain areas on that job description.
Is it, when did we do the last compensation study?
14,
So, yeah, 14.
right? No, 15.
We started in 14, didn't we?
Didn't seem like very long ago,
Improvement.
because it wasn't, it was controversial.
I think it was.
Yeah, but that's every meeting.
Started at 14.
Yeah, I was thinking 8 minutes today, and then we got into this. Is there, is that, it's not, is it required, I mean, is that piece required, the compensation study? It seems to me that I remember this discussion around doing the compensation study. I remember Rick saying, okay, we better be prepared when we do these, that,
you're gonna
what do we
pay us.
do it? And then we went through that whole process, and we changed.
So, your call, that's correct, right? And I believe that all that happened in 15. I'd have to go back and look, because I think that was right when I started.
Could
It
you,
was our
I'd just like to know
process.
how much
So it's
before
been
then.
about-
I don't, we're obviously not getting people, the market forces often cause, I think, I know we did that, maybe a review of that study, before we jump into another study
Right.
this year, because, I don't know, I'm just speaking to myself, I don't know if just seems like it wasn't that long ago, but you're right, time goes through.
I know that it
But when were
was
the studies?
approved
If it's been
about
5 years, then it's
I've only
probably
recalled
time.
one study ever since I've been in 14 years on this board, and that was that one.
That could be, yeah, that could be.
So-
I just
so
know that it's
I'm,
been about
so now
5
is it more
years.
for
And
you?
if you recall, last year, we do have to do the pay equity reporting.
Yeah, that one I understand is a,
Yep, and that's
Federal.
required, and if you recall again, we were a little bit under, we failed a piece of that. Now, that doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with the comp and class study, but part of our explanation when we responded to that report was to state that we were gonna be doing this in the next year to make sure that we are compliant in those areas, and so that's all part of that.
that's understandable, I just remember this long discussion.
Well, let's hope it's not
Went on
really
for a
long
year.
and drawn out this time.
Right. 2-hour board meetings.
It's okay, all right. So we anticipate then that coming to the board when?
My guess would be probably August, September
Yeah.
timeframe. I'm not positive. Yeah, maybe July.
Is it, and it's budgeted in this year's
The
budget,
comp
the
and
study?
class study is budgeted in this year's budget, yeah.
That's the study, not
Not
the results.
No, not the results.
Correct.
Yeah, that's never, but that's the controversy, I'm just trying to.
But it'll also flow nicely, because again, we've got union negotiations.
Unless it says they should all be
So-
lower. Okay, careful what you ask for.
If that's the case, we may not have any buses on the
I don't think
road.
we've ever done that reverse on any other.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Let's keep in mind too, as Paula alluded to, that this would be good timing too, because this is a union negotiation year too as well. So the results of the results of the study, and then as we negotiate a contract with the operators, kind of go, give us some, I guess, talking points. I don't want to speak for Sunny, but it just be a good information to have to see, to use as leverage as we negotiate a new contract for the operators.
Few other things, we are beginning, or in the beginning development stages of moving to a new HR and payroll system. So we're just starting to look at what that conversion might look like and what the new system can all do. 2019, we added a voluntary life, short-term and long-term disability option for our employees. So not anything that MetroBus pays for, but that we are able to offer as a group plan for our employees to buy into. This year, so in 2019 was the first year that we offered it. I don't remember exact enrollment numbers, but we met all of our requirements as far as enrollment goes. And I know for 2020, we actually saw an increase in our employees enrolling in those options. For beginning of fiscal year 2020, we did kick off an employee-funded well-being initiative. Our tagline is Your Road to Wellness. We were successful in getting a $500 SHIP grant that we've been able to use to kind of get this program up and running. We've now been starting to put into place different healthy snack options that we've used some of that funding for to give to employees, as well as developing well-being activities for employees to get or to start participating in. And then as far as training and safety goes, just really quick updates. I believe Scott will come and do a more detailed update for you guys on safety and training. As far as safety goes, we do have a safety committee that continues to meet monthly. They recently conducted safety audits at our transit center and here, and have just a few housekeeping items that they're working on addressing. And for training, just wanted to give you an idea of some of the more standard training opportunities that we now have on our calendar annually. So the training department is in the spring of every year offering operator training activity. It's called OTA training. It's for our operators. And it specifically is training on operator activities, duties, policies, things that our operators need to know. We've done 2 of those so far, once in 2018, once in 2019, and that'll continue annually. They are also in the process of developing those for maintenance and for dispatch, so that all of those areas will have that annual training. In the fall of every year, we've been doing professional organizational development training, which is for all employees within MetroBus. That's more policy-driven, procedures. We've had a speaker come in just to talk about, keeping things positive. How do we keep our minds in more of a positive light so that we can all enjoy coming to work every day. So that will continue annually in the fall. We've recently had all of our supervisors, managers, support staff participate in a strengths finder training, which is just focused on all of us individually understanding where our strengths are, and then understanding where all of our colleagues' strengths are, so that we can work together. And we will be doing a second session for that strengths finder training this week. We kicked off a supervisor manager training series in 2019. Our first training was in spring. And then we've got a second training session coming up in February, March, which will be focused on supervisor skills enhancement. So specifically related to what do I need to know now that I am or as a supervisor, what are the things that we need to know. We've got reasonable suspicion training coming that is offered to all employees that are in a position where they might perform a fit for duty check as our employees are coming into work. That's happening in February. And then the training department has now scheduled on a regular basis operator observations, which is where they get on the bus with our operators and just observe their driving for a period of time and then provide feedback. And we have also developed a standard for all of our remedial training. So if we have employees that get into an accident or have some sort of issue or incident, we've got kind of a threshold that we use for the number of hours of remedial training based on a set of criteria. That's it.
Very good. Any questions or additions to that? Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else from the crowd?
Well, I'll just have one thing before we close. I know we have one of our commissioners today celebrating a birthday. It seems like every time we meet in January, one commissioner has a birthday on this exact board meeting date. So I'll just, on behalf of Metrobus, just want to say happy birthday to you, Dave.
Right. That's today. 16th anniversary, number 40. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Dave's mine.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, anything else that folks have? Well, thank you for that. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned. Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 22 minutes after 4.